Consider the following calculation. 5 minus 3 times 4 plus 24 divided, and in brackets you can see we have 3 plus 5, then we have the subtraction of 3 to the power of 2. A question we need to ask when we see a calculation like this is, which operation do we do first? Do I do this subtraction first? Do I do this multiplication? Which one do I choose? Now, this is what this video is about. It's going to give you the way in which you must perform the individual calculations. And the first thing you need to do is to do this bracket here, where 3 plus 5 becomes 8. But what should you do next? Well, the answer is you should do this here, 3 to the power of 2. A useful memory aid to assist with deciding which of the individual calculations you need to do first is the word BODMAS. Now, the letter B of the word BODMAS actually stands for brackets. Now, this means we perform the calculation contained within the brackets first. And in the example we can see in this particular video, we in fact would perform the 3 plus 5 first. The second letter in the word BODMAS is O, and we need to think of this as representing of. And the word of comes from the fact, if I look at the example 3 to the 2, we can write that out as 3 to the power of 2. And we take the O of, and that becomes the second letter in the word BODMAS. The third letter in the word BODMAS is D, and this D stands for division. Now, the fourth letter in the word BODMAS is M, and this stands for multiplication. The fifth letter in the word BODMAS is A, and this simply stands for addition. The sixth and last letter in the word BODMAS is S, and this stands for subtraction. So let's have a go at doing this calculation here. Well, the first thing I'm going to note is that I'm going to look at B of BODMAS, and that actually stands for brackets. So I'm going to look at the calculation and see if I can see some brackets, and I can. I can see this 3 plus 5, so in fact 3 plus 5 is indeed 8. So we write 8 down, as you can see here. I've now copied down the rest of the calculation, which I'm yet to get onto. But now I can see there are no more brackets. So what I do now, I go to the next letter in BODMAS, which is O. And of course that stands for of, and this is to do with powers. So I go to see if there are any powers. And clearly I've got 3 to the power of 2, which is 3 times 3, which is 9. So we put 9 down. And of course this negative now has to come down here, because that's not minus 3. This is being subtracted from the rest of the calculation. So I'm now going to copy the calculation down. Of course, there are no more powers in the calculation, so the next thing we do, we go on to the D of BODMAS, and we know we're now looking to see if there are any divisions. And of course, there is a division here where we have 24 being divided by 8. And of course 24 divided by 8 is in fact 3, because 8 goes into 24 3 times. We now can copy down the remainder of the calculation. So I'll bring down the minus 9, and of course I now have got the 5 minus the 3 times the 4, and plus that's what I'm going to do now. I'm simply going to copy down the remainder of the calculation, because we're going to be doing this step by step. Of course there are no more divisions, so we'll now go to the M. And we know that this is to do with multiplication. So we go and try and locate a multiplication, and we can see it's 3 times 4, which obviously gives us 12. And now we'll copy down the rest of the calculation, as you can see here. Of course, there is no more multiplication, so we now go to the A of BODMAS and we look for addition, which we can see here. So I'm going to add the 3 to the 5 to give 8. And then I'm going to copy the rest of the calculation down, the remaining bit, minus 12 minus 9. Of course, there is no more addition, so we go to the S, which means we look for subtractions, which we can see here and here. And of course, 8 minus 12 minus 9 is in fact minus 13. So that's what we end up with. We end up with the answer of minus 13. And we've achieved this by using the word BODMAS and making sure we did the brackets, then we did the powers, then we did the division, then the multiplication, then the addition, and then the subtraction. And that's the approach you should always take when performing any calculations similar to the ones that you are seeing here. Check out the supporting website for these videos, and also consider subscribing to the YouTube channel and get an automatic update every time I upload a new video. Also consider subscribing to the Google Plus circle that relates to these videos.